Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Seattle Sentinels NHL franchise. I'm going to start the 2020 season basically. Now, the first thing I do is going to correct the mistake I made last time. I was going to do an offer on Mikhail Sergachev, and I screwed it up last time because I didn't realize that if you do a 6-year deal, it gets averaged over 5. So let's go and try to get him an RFA offer sheet with a 5-year deal so it gets properly stays below. And there you go. It goes to the second round pick. And so let's see what he thinks about that. Yeah, I guess with an RFA deal, if you do a term longer than 6 years, it gets averaged over 5 or averaged over 5 anyways. So it was coming in over the second round pick level. Okay, and so we're going to process turn a few days waiting for him to decide on that. And okay, he's decided to accept. So let's see if Tampa matches. I don't. They shouldn't. They don't have the cap space. So unless they do something really sneaky in the next couple of days, they should. And yes, I get him. Declined to match the offer. So I'm losing my second round pick. However, that does mean I'm extra crowded on defense now. So I might look at making a trade to clear a roster spot just to kind of clean things up a little bit. I mean, because if you look at defense, all right. So now I got Bufflin, Bear, Shea, Myers, Vatanen, Hamonic, and Ghoul. I mean, see, I would like to actually trade Hamonic, but that doesn't really seem fair. I mean, I don't like trading guys, at least in the first year of a multi-year deal. That seems kind of shady. It seems to sort of break the immersion. I mean, I know every once in a while it does happen in hockey, but I think Myers might be a better candidate since he was from the initial. I mean, technically he's on a multi-year deal too, but it's not as big. It's only like $1,700,000, whereas Hamonic I signed 4 years, $4 million. Which, okay, hindsight being 2020, was probably just an emotional reaction. I probably shouldn't have signed him to that big a deal, anyways. Maybe I should have just gotten Hamonic for a year or two as well. But I mean, Myers is also kind of stuck in the middle because I got prospecty guys coming up behind him like Foote, Luke Green, Josh Anderson, and then I got a pretty full roster at the big club. So Myers is kind of in no man's land and kind of stuck in between the two. So I think I'm going to at least see what sort of offers I get on him. The other thing is it looks like I'm at 50 contracts, so I might want to just clear a contract so I can maybe pick some up during the year. I mean, looks like 3 and a 4 seems to be the common ground here. Afanasiev. Uh, Might want to. I remember that name for some reason. And again, that's a little bit trading on meta knowledge, which I don't like to do, but I remember that Afanasiev kid maybe simming well in other runs, but I don't know anything about him. So maybe I'll scout him. Then it's not meta knowledge if I actually take the time to scout him. So, but I mean, I do, having a prospecty guy on left wing wouldn't be a terrible thing. I mean, it depends on what he comes back as. I mean, I don't necessarily. I mean, I still want. I mean, part of the problem is 50 contracts, and that doesn't. And trading for Afanasiev wouldn't solve that. So it kind of depends on what he comes back as. If he's actually like an elite, maybe I do it. If it's just a top 6 guy, never mind. I mean, I'll see what I could get for Hamonic, but again, I don't. Okay, nobody even wants him anyways. Uh, like I said, I don't really think trading a guy in the first year of a big free agent deal like that. Trading a re. Oh, that's the other thing. Myers was a re-sign, and Hamonic was a new guy. I mean, I'll even poke Vatanen with a stick, but I actually kind of like Vatanen. Only one offer on him, and it's a pretty weak one. So I guess if I'm going to do anything, it's going to be Myers, but I might actually think about that a little bit. I mean, I could just be at 50 contracts for a little while and just see what happens. Just kind of walk through some of these again. It seems like a 3 and a 4 and pick the year, whether you want them in 2021 or 2022, seems to be the most common offer. And that would clear me down to 49 contracts. So, you know, and I feel like Nashville might be the rebuildingest of these. I mean, Florida was in the playoffs fairly recently, and they got Bobrovsky, so it's like, you can ride a strong goalie. I'm gonna wait. I guess I'm gonna wait a little bit and at least get that scouting on that kid. I mean, it is true. I don't have like a A-list prospect in the pipe at left wing. I have, you know, Leonov, but he's a poorly scouted like sixth rounder, so I don't know that he's really gonna stay as elite. I mean, Wolski's in his 30s, so he's not really a prospect. I mean, you know, so let's at least see what the Afanasyev, because we can clear. That's the other thing, is we could clear a roster spot some other way. We could just trade some dude for garbage. I mean, trade some guy for a sixth, seventh round pick and clear a spot that way. So in the meantime, though, let's also look at the coaching staff, or not the coaches, the scouts. Let's get that sort of squared away. One thing I'm just going to point as a meta thing, I don't bother worrying about scout salary. I figure if you've got $100 million roster, why would you care about an extra 100,000 for the guys who are finding you the players? I mean, why would you skimp on that? So I honestly don't sweat going over my scout salary budget. So I do want to kind of limit fog of war as much as possible. So I probably will have scouts in the AHL and NHL. Usually a lot of, like in the USA and in Europe, there's one or two leagues where they don't really have many guys, and you can afford to just kind of skip them or go scout a specific person. So there's a little bit of how to allocate your scouts smartly. So let's take looking at US, for instance. There's there's only 9 guys out west or whatever. I mean, the East so Central's the big one in North America. So I mean, if I put someone in the Central, that would pretty much take care of that. I mean, though those guys are both A's. Those guys are both A's in their regions. So whereas that guy is a B- in Central. Guerrero and Nolan. So I mean, I'd be getting less quality scouting, but be able to scout more guys if I move one of these guys to the Central. So I'll probably do that. See, I kind of wish Fog of War. I like Fog of War at the prospect levels. I think Fog of War is stupid at the NHL level because it's like you're playing 82 games, they're on national TV. It shouldn't be that hard to get accurate scouting on anybody who's playing in the NHL or even arguably the AHL at this point. So, sorry, that's my one complaint. So I almost wish you could have like a split Fog of War. So okay, let's sign this person and they'll go into NHL, one of the two that I don't have figure out where to put them later. And we also need an AHL scout. Kind of beef up our AHL. Oh, sorry, NHL was Metro. That's the only one we don't have scouting on. And then we're looking at Pacific and Atlantic. I always forget the division names in the AHL. Sorry. But yeah, Pacific and Atlantic is what we're going to need for our AHL. Those are the only regions we don't have covered at this point. So, okay, this A plus in Atlantic and a B in Pacific, but let's grab that guy as our 20th scout. And then we'll tweak this a little bit each season to get better scouts and get them in the right places. Yeah, year one there tends to not be a lot of good free agent scouts, so it's not worth like over wholesale overhaul of your scouting. And again, over in Europe, there's usually a couple leagues where there aren't a lot of players, and you can just afford to either afford to ignore them entirely, or if there's one good player, scout that good player by hand. So it looks like of the three, the Allsvenskan is the weak one. Liga and SHL have decent amount of guys, and I think I've got Liga and SHL. Yeah, Liga and SHL are both covered. So, in fact, I could afford to move that second Liga guy if I wanted to. Most of Europe, there's like what 15 prospects per four in four leagues, so it's like 50 or 60 guys total. So, I think I'm gonna move Guerrero. He's a little bit better in the Central, which is where we're gonna want him scouting. So, because that's where the most of the dudes are. I mean, yeah, you get him 16 guys on the West Coast versus like 60 in the Central. So let's start him working. Let's start his season there. Ironically, the one thing that came out of the franchise bug at the start of the year was when it wasn't doing automatic scouting, was I got a little bit better at manually scouting. So now I don't kind of dislike that quite as much. So if I need to go find information on a couple guys manually as the draft gets closer and I have a better idea where I'm picking, I can go do that. So, and oops, I didn't mean to actually sim this game, but whatever. I mean, I meant to just kind of blow through. So, ignore this. Okay. So, man, we lose our first exhibition game. You know, whatever. Not really that important. Lost again. We are losing. Oh, we won against the Kings. 1-3. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm doing individual games. It's not that exciting. Sorry. But at this point, 2-3, 2-4. 3-4. Okay, it's gonna whine about the cap. So at this point, we probably need to get a final. I mean, we don't have to, but I kind of like cleaning things up before we start the season. So let's probably go figure out that whole business with Myers and whether we want to do that trade or not. It's not really a money thing. I still got 2.5 under the cap, but 50 players is a little bit, might get in the way of making moves later. So, Myers, where are you? And that's the thing. Hamonic has no trade value. I don't want to trade the better prospects. So, oh well. I mean, and I wanted him when I took him. I mean, to be fair, just to defend myself a little bit. When I took him in the expansion draft, I intended on playing him, but I mean, there are so many decent defensemen in the draft that it's like, oops, he's kind of the odd man out now. Okay, so he's a low elite, and he's not even fully scouted yet. So I don't know. I mean, and the pick dropped to a 6. So to get this guy, so you get Afanasayev, or however that's pronounced, the other pick is even worse than in the other deals. So I mean, I'm not really feeling that. I think I'd rather. And then the other way of looking at this is this is also compensation for the second I lost for Sergachev. A third and a fourth. We'll go with that. So it's basically kind of like trading Myers and a second for Sergachev, a third and a fourth. And I think when you kind of package those two deals together into a single offer, I think that's pretty solid. So, okay, so here's my lines to start the season. I'm mostly going to just do what the coaches say. Um, Yeah, Gould and Athanasiou are my scratches to start the year. Hoffman, Stahl, Eberle's going to be the number one line. Shea and Buff are going to be the top pair. Sergachev, Vatanen, and then Hamonic and Bear as the third pair. I'm not a little disappointed that Bear's going to be third pair, but on the other hand, I can't really argue that. I mean, of the three, he's, I could give him more minutes and put him on a higher pair, but that's all right. Okay, so Hoffman, Stahl, Eberle, DeBrusk, Strome, Nyquist, Jankowski, Cunnin, and Bratt. I kind of would rather see Athanasiou in there at least to start the year. Of course, it's worse chemistry. And then, by the way, Duclair, Hintz, and Ryan on the bottom line. So I view Jankowski more as the depth forward in this situation. Because there's no right wing, some left wing is going to have to play right wing. I mean, there's not really any way around it. Unless I want to play Jankowski on the right wing and put Brad on the bench to start the year. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good plan or not, but maybe I'll try that out. I mean, this all gets tumbled around once the season starts anyway, so I don't know that it matters a lot. Since I have the assistant coach helping with the lines, the minute we have an injury, it all gets thrown out the window. But let's put Jankowski out there. And the chemistry is a little bit better too. So, and Bratt's only 21. If he gets underutilized for a season, it's not going to kill his development. So, and there's the fourth line is just there's no way to improve that really without major shuffling. So. And again, looking at the roster one more time. Looking good on left wing. Yeah, I wish I had a real fourth right wing, but whatever. And I think I did want to at some point see what Alenko is shaping up as. Alenko is okay. He's only a 71 overall, not fully scouted yet, but yeah, he's not. He's gonna have to start the year in the minors. I mean, if he was like 75, maybe 78, I mean, at that point I might put him on the fourth line and just see what happens. But 71, let's let him percolate for a little while longer. That's all right. I mean, not every prospect has to start their career in the NHL. A lot of good guys sat in the minors for a year before they got started. I mean, you'll get the occasional guy like was it Crosby? I think went right to the NHL, but I think that's more the exception than the rule. I think all our scouts are where I want them to be anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. So I guess let us get the season started. Usually I sim out a month and then kind of each month and then kind of check stats. And we haven't won a game yet. We're 0-1-2. Take a quick look at the draft class. I don't want to get too far into this because A, we don't know much, and B, I don't want to just deep dive this. I just kind of want to see what sort of positions and names are in the top 10. And also, we don't even know where we're going to be picking this early in the season. So, just kind of randomly looking in the window of the toy store for a few seconds. But let's continue. Yay, we won a game! Hooray! Nope, 2 in a row. 3 in a row. All right, we're on a little bit of a streak here. Nice, we're actually above 500 now. I expect to struggle a little at first, just because with an expansion team, stuff like chemistry's off. The guys' morale's off because they don't have friends on the team, and little stuff like that. And when you're shopping for expansion, you don't really have a chance to fit the system as well, and it's just a collection of guys. So it's not going to bother me. All right, we're sitting in 4th place with 10 points. That's Obviously, it's still all very early and very close, but I'd rather be in fourth place than in eighth. 2.67 goals a game, 256 again given up. I mean, I'll have to check and see how that shapes up. 20% power play is pretty good, or it feels pretty good, though. Again, these are, subject to small sample size. And 90% penalty kill. I mean, those look. I mean, we'll see. This early, you might see a team that has like 4 or 5 goals per game or something, just because of small sample size. Let's check that really quick, just for granted. I mean, the Caps are the best in all of hockey. Okay. Yeah. See, Washington scored 4 goals a game, so actually 2.59 or whatever I had for was not as impressive as I thought it was. Or no, it was 2.8. It was 2.84, 2.5 against. So, or 2.64. Yeah, 2.67, which it's middle. Turns out that's more like middle of the pack. I mean, it's okay, but it's not as great as I thought it was. Goals against, similarly, okay. I mean, Devils are giving up 1.67, so there's some small sample size aberrations here. But I'm like, I'm kind of top 10, maybe top 12. I mean, I didn't, count it, but defensively, I'm actually doing pretty good. Power play, okay, we're in the top 10. We're firmly in the top 10. We're like seventh with our 20%. Penalty kill. It looks like we're going to be near the top 10 in penalty kill too. Yeah. So I mean, our special teams are playing pretty well. Let's take a look at some player stats. It's really early, but okay. Stalls are Buff with 4 goals. Okay, Bufflin. All right. Hoffman off to a decent start. 2 goals, 4 assists for our big free agent expenditure. Athy, 4 goals and an assist. At the bottom end, Bear, Duclair, Vatanen. Sergey's off to kind of a slow start too. But again, this is hard to get too worried about. It's this early. I mean, just for personal stats, wait a month or two before you start hitting the panic button. But in goals, Buff and Athy are the top at 4, and then Stahl, Hamonic. As much as I'm trying to trade Hamonic, he's got 3 goals. Nyquist, Jankowski, Hoffman. Stahl, Hintz, Eberle leading the way in assists. Cunnin and Hoffman right behind them. Down in the minors, take a quick look what's going on down there. Cal Foote, big start for him. Sorella, 7 goals in 10 games. That's not bad. Taylor Lair at 5 goals, 4 assists. I don't see Alanko. 6 assists, no goals. I mean, whatever. I mean, again, small sample size at this point. I don't know that you really hit the panic button, but Gustafson. He's off to a red hot start. And in the majors, Rittich. Okay, 222, 920 save percentage. I mean, Husso got smacked around in his one start. So, but that's all right. I mean, for a first month, I'll take that. So let's look at league leaders real quick. Okay, points. Kuznetsov is your top guy. Barkov, Kadri, Konechny, Zucker. In goals, Kadri with 12, Kuznetsov 8, Hornquist 8, and then a couple guys at 7. And assists, Hedman is your number 1 guy. Barkov, Konechny. Okay, so that's our first month in the books. Let's go sim some more and see what happens in November. And we're off to a slow start in November. Oh, brother. To a really slow start in November. Okay, there's There's a win to salvage some dignity. And we're back to 500. Come on, boys. No, I'm not trading Eberle. Certainly not this early. Probably not at all. Okay, we're still hovering around the 500 mark. 10 and 9 and 9, 994. Bobby Ryan, and again, not yet. Calm down. Stop stripping me for parts. I don't need to take another look at the class or whatever. That's fine. Okay, I don't have any UF or RFAs, so I don't need to worry about that. And we're 10, 10, and 4 at December 1st, so we kind of slid back a little bit to 500. But where's that put us in standings? Standings-wise, we're still 4th. So, yeah, 4th with 24 points. Again, well, see, the top is opening up a little bit, whereas the bottom is right behind us. So it's a little tighter below. Our offense has gotten a little better. We went up from like 2.56 to 2.75. On the other hand, our goals against has stayed about where it was, maybe a little worse. So, and our special teams are about where they were, same sort of numbers as they were after the first month. Caps still leading all hockey. Flyers, yeah. In the Western Conference, the Jets are the top team. We are currently outside the playoff picture by a point. I mean, whatever. Yeah, we're like 1 point out of a playoff spot. So that's not anything worth panicking about, though. We're in a large group, so that could be, that could bounce a lot in the next month or two. And, in terms of scoring for and scoring against, what did we say, 275 was where we were? Yeah, it's shaping up as kind of middle of the pack, even lower middle. I mean, it's certainly nothing special. Defensively, looks like we're going to still... Okay, technically toward the middle of the pack, but there's a big bunch of people there. Special teams, again, okay, still top 10 on power play. And still near the top 10 on penalty kill. And we're a much better home team than road team. That's the other thing I noticed while we were scrolling through that. Really, Stahl still leads the team in points. Hoffman, in fact, our top line is pretty much the top 3 scorers. Hintz is starting to get it going. Buff still scoring 7 goals for Buff. Nice. Goal scorers, Stahl leads the way. Buff and Athey, 7 and 2. That goals and assists split still kind of crazy. Oh, Bear finally has a point. Yay. Assists wise, Stahl, Eberle, Hoffman, Hintz, usual suspects. Let's take a look at the goalies. Ew. Okay, why has Gustafsson got to start? That's a little bit alarming. Down in the minors, Foot continues to lead the way. Sprong is now, and that Wolski, that 34-year-old dude, he's now my 3rd leading scorer. Alanko, 10 assists without a goal. So, I mean, it's production. I mean, you kind of always root for your number 1 pick to kind of be leading the way, and he's kind of just there. But, I mean, I'm not going to bag on him too much for getting some assists. I mean, he just needs to add some goals to it. So I want to see what's going on with that. Okay, the lines are a little bit crazy. That you'd kind of expect that. That just kind of happens as you play. Okay, Bears moved up to the number 2 defense pair. I don't see Buff, so we may need to check our injuries here. So I don't think Buff would just be benched. Okay, ooh, yeah, Buff, Bratt, oof, Rittich. That's okay. We gotta maybe take a look at this because it's one of our top defensemen and our starting goalie are shown on the injury list. Bratt, whatever. I mean, I'm pretty deep at left wing, but let's see what's going on with the injury. Ooh, February 1st. Shit. And those other 2 are new injuries, so they're still in evaluation, but that's okay. That's a problem. Losing our starting goalie for basically half the season. Oof. I believe the word you're looking for is oof. I mean, for the moment, let's see what Husso does, or Husso. I think he's pronounced Husso. I mean, I don't want to. Let's see how this next month goes and see if I need to do. Because I don't want to necessarily shake up my roster to go get another goalie unless I need to. And Husso was like a 78 overall. I mean, he's not terrible. So let's see what happens. At least I don't think he's terrible. I guess we'll find out. 2 losses to start. Oh boy, maybe he is terrible. Stop picking me for parts. I mean, that may yet happen, but not in December. Leave me alone. Oh. Okay, a little rally here. Started 0-3, rallied a little now. Another loss. Well, we're under 500 now, and because everything's so close together, we're now in like 6th or 7th place. Come on, Husso, show something. You're supposed to be our next goalie or whatever. Our goalie. I mean, well, Gustafson's the goalie of the long-term future, but you're at some point supposed to push Rittich for the starting job if you're truly an elite goalie. But now we're 2 games under 500, so that month did not go so great, did it? Let's take a look at the stats. See where we are after December. We are in 6th place. I mean, we're only 5 points behind the top 3. Conference-wise, we're in 11th, and we're 3 points out of a playoff spot. I mean, so we're not dead. I mean, we struggled this month, but we're not totally screwed. How's our stat? Let's check. Let's see how our stats are looking here. Okay, our goals against are still actually our goals for are still going up, but our goals against freaking skyrocketed. We went from like 270, 280 to now 3.2 per game. So we got to be fair, some of that is Buff. Bufflin's out too, depending on how long he's out. But that's not great. I mean, oddly enough, our special teams are still holding up. I mean, our even strength is tanking. And again, we're a terrible road team. We're okay. We're above 500 at home, but 4-10-1 on the road. So we need home cooking. Well, that puts us in an interesting situation, doesn't it? We've still got to weather another month without Rittich, at which point will we still even be in it? I mean, okay, again, our top line is clicking just fine. I didn't mean to rhyme, but okay, cool. Athy, now 12 goals and only 2 assists. I don't know. I just find that funny. Does that make him the Kobe, or is it James Harden of the NHL team that refuses to pass the puck to anybody else? Okay, Sergachev finally starting to get it going a little bit points wise. I mean, Gould finally got some playing time. Oh, ooh, yeah. Okay, he's not 3.28. I mean, and not 895. That's not great. And Gustafsson got shelled in his backup appearances. So the goaltending has not been up to snuff. Let's go back and look at goals. I mean, okay, yeah, Hoffman, Athey, Eberle. It's really the top line is carrying the load. I mean, we need to kind of divert. We probably need to diversify our scoring or something if we wanted to. Okay, league wide. Okay, this Huberdeau's leading in assists. Hedman, Konechny, Aho, Bailey, Kuznetsov. So since I happen to have assists on when I started this, we'll just look at assists first, I guess. Kuznetsov is leading the league. Taylor Hall, Jack Eichel, Konechny again, Barkov, Wheeler, Aho, Draisaitl. Goals, Taylor Hall. Then Tarasenko and Kadri are a three-way tie with 24 each. And Seguin and Ovechkin. Ovechkin, the ageless wonder. So I secretly they have him like as 109 overall, and then they just kind of hide it. Goalies, they'll take a little, but since we're kind of at the halfway, I'm going to do a little more of a deep dive. You know, Varlamov and Grubauer leading the league in wins. If you sort by save percentage, I might do that in a second here, but let's look at these wins. Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky, Hart, Lundqvist, Bennington, Dubnyk. Yeah. Okay, save percentage. The first real goalie on this is actually Jusei Saros. Dubnyk. Odd. Casey DeSmith has 21 games. Vasilevsky, Carter Hart. Goals against. Tells Saros is number one again. I think we're kind of going to get the tells a similar tale thing. Dubnyk again, Bobrovsky again, Hart again. Yeah. Okay, so we've got these are kind of our early contenders for the Vezina. Curious who's looking good for rookies as well. Oh, Laffy leading the way. 7 goals, 15 assists, though, minus 11. Alexander Holtz for Monton. Barrett Hayton, Alex Turcotte with a goal and 12 assists. Wallstrom, Tolvanen. Goals, Holtz and Laffy leading the way. Okay, it's mostly a two-man race for the Calder, it looks like. Maybe one of these other guys jumps up a little bit, but it looks like these two guys are a little bit out in front of everybody else. And then if there's are there any goalies that are really getting any run? Okay, Shesterkin, 34 games, but 3.26, 894 save percentage isn't that good. I mean, that's what I'm whining about with Husso. So I mean, if he's got numbers similar, an 11 and 19 record, yeah, he's not necessarily going to be pushing himself into the Calder conversation either. So I think that's where we're going to leave it for now. So we'll pick it up next time at the beginning of the new calendar year, January 1st. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya.